We all know it's important to stay in good physical shape, so every year we get a checkup with the doctor to make sure we're on track. But what about our finances? If you're looking to retire, it's incredibly important to have those in good shape too. That's where Phillis Sachs-Pilvinus comes in. She's been guiding her clients to and through retirement for over 30 years, making sure their retirement accounts are prepared to go the distance. It's time to retire financially fit with Phillis. Here's your host, Jen Rizek.
Right now is the best opportunity for you to get ahead of your financial strategy for the year 2022. There are several deadlines to remember throughout the year, so today we want to hit the highlights so you can mark your calendar for the key retirement dates you want to remember for this year. It is all a part of helping you retire financially fit. Thank you so much for joining us today as we sit down with Phillis Sachs-Pilvinus. She is founder and president of PSP and Associates. She is the author of the book Creating Calm Amidst the Storm. And Phillis, I hope you're doing great.
I am. It's really true. The older I get, the faster it goes.
Oh my gosh. I know. What do they say? It's long days and short years or something like that is how it feels, especially with grandkids for you and kids for me. Yeah, sometimes the days feel long, but the years just keep flying by.
Phew. Fly by. Wow.
I know. It's hard to even imagine. And well, and last year at the start of 2021, we had all the weirdness from the pandemic in 2020. And, it's definitely been a weird few years, but looking forward to what this new one will bring us. That's always a very optimistic time for me. I'm always very optimistic.
Right?
Yes.
Exciting. A whole new slate.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yes.
There
new slate, new year. And we want to help you get ahead of some of the things you need to think about when it comes to your overall retirement plan and just some of the big highlights, some of the big dates. So Phyllis, real quickly, the first one, we have this list of key retirement planning dates for here in 2022. The first one involves Medicare. So you have that Medicare Advantage open enrollment period. That goes from January 1 until the end of March, until the 31st of March. And that's also the Medicare Part A and Part B general enrollment period. It goes in that first quarter. So it's important to know we could have some Medicare decisions to think about in the first quarter of the year. But the big one that sticks out to me that caught my attention, Phyllis, April 1st is when we have to take our required minimum distributions. Can you explain that April 1st date? Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Dang it, is that
this
wrong?
This is a tricky one. Well,
okay.
No, so it's only if you turned 72 in 2021.
Okay.
You get to wait for your first distribution to April 1st of 2022.
Okay.
But you have to take when you're normally in the throes of things, each year you must take your distribution before the end of the year. And this is a biggie because if you don't do that, there's a penalty. And hold on tight. That penalty is 50% of the amount that you should have taken.
That is a big penalty.
Yeah, that's just huge. Huge.
Okay.
So you want to get that right. By the end of the year, you've got to get it out.
Okay, so RMDs need to be taken by the 31st, unless, as you're saying, if it's the year after you became eligible to start taking them, then you have until April. And this is where it gets so tricky because there's all these rules. I was reading, Phyllis, I told you about this. I was reading a column in Forbes. It was one of those kind of ask for advice types of things. And in that situation, somebody had inherited an IRA. So their dad had died. They inherited his IRA, and they said, okay, so I have until April 1st of next year to take that. And there was a difference there. There's a difference between being the owner, who that would apply to you if you became eligible and you had that extra wiggle room, and being the beneficiary. Because when you're the beneficiary, it's a different set of circumstances. And here's the thing, Phyllis, even death isn't an excuse to mess up the RMD.
That's right.
Because if you inherit an IRA from a parent or somebody and they hadn't completed the RMDs, Now it's on you to get it done, or we go back to that 50% penalty again. We can't even die and get out of this stuff, Phyllis.
100% right. It's got to be taken the first year. If it hasn't been taken, it has to be taken by December 31st. Not bad enough that you lost somebody, but you've got to get it out of there. Otherwise, you're going to have a big penalty. And I don't even want to begin to tell you how the rules for inherited IRAs have changed. I mean, I could go on and on.
That 10-year rule, right?
Yep, that's exactly right. It used to be that 1 year after the death, you could roll it into an inherited IRA and take it over your life expectancy, your required minimum distribution, and start the following year based upon your age, the beneficiary's age. Now, unless you're a spouse, you can't do. The spouse has different rules. That's for a different day. Now you have to empty out, whether it be your IRA or a Roth IRA, within 10 years of that period of time. The entire account has to be emptied. You could do it all in 1 year, a little bit each year, as long as it's emptied within 10 years. So that's a lot different, and taxes are generally higher for people. And this is why we're doing a lot of planning around that. All I'm going to say with retirement accounts, I study this all the time. That's why I've always been a member of Ed Slott, Master Elite IRA Group. There's so many rules that could trick you up. And most people throughout their lifetime have got an IRA over here, a Roth over here, a 401k here, a 403b here. Great reason as you get close to retirement or certainly into retirement to consolidate so you know what's going on and what you've got to take when. It's crazy enough as it stands.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, all of this speaks to the need to work with somebody who can help you navigate all these rules, navigate all the changes in the rules. And also it speaks to the need for why we want to get the planning done in advance. Because, when you talk about the situation where you inherit an IRA from your parents, well, it's because they passed away. So you're dealing with the grief, you're dealing with all that. And then who's thinking about RMDs when they're trying to deal with planning funeral arrangements? Like, this is the last thing anybody wants to think about. This is why we get this done. This is why we talk to somebody and we get it set up and we make sure that everything is buttoned down, right?
Absolutely imperative and a big part of our planning. I mean, obviously getting the plan together and going through all our steps. But that's why we do beneficiary checks every single year to make sure that we have those updated. That's why we have instructions set up. And, that's why I always call myself a strategist. I'm not just a financial planner. We're a retirement strategist. And these strategies are what's so important. Where are you going to take money from for your required minimum distribution? How are you going to make sure that your beneficiaries get it tax efficiently? How are we going to make sure we have the right beneficiaries? Again, with the Secure Act that took place the end of 2019, it was 19. Gosh, everything runs together. I'm thinking, was it 2018? I had to check myself. With that, everything changed in terms of, do you really want to trust the beneficiary of your IRA? Whereas it might have worked before, it may not work now. You want to call a strategist. You want to pick up the phone. Beginning of the year is a great time to get all these things in order and buttoned up, okay? Call us at 623-792-5496. This is what we do with our clients. Of course, we start the retire fit analysis and we make sure that you're on track for the retirement that you dreamed of, but constant monitoring, making sure that we have a strategy. Do we, of where to take the money from when, how to get it to the next generation, how to make sure that your spouse doesn't have any tax bombs that you weren't informed about. All part of the ongoing process of retirement planning. 623-792-5496.
That number again, 623-792-5496. Phyllis, I think the big question for so many people, you look at these different accounts, these IRAs, these 401ks, they're great to be using to save money, but how do we figure out what to do with them when it comes to taking the money out? I mean, we're talking about those required minimum distributions. We know there's times when we have to take money out, but is there anything else we should think about as it relates to what to do with that 401k or that IRA after you retire?
You mean once the money comes out?
Yeah. Or just how you continue to manage it after you're no longer contributing to it anymore.
Oh, okay. So a dormant account, if you will. It's no longer dollar cost averaging into it. So what we have to consider then as part of the plan is, what do we need that money to do? Are we going to take income from that? When are we going to take income from that? If we are going to take income from that and we need that money, we want to adjust the risk. We absolutely want to make sure that it's not too risky, so that every time we take $1 out, if the market's dropped, we're having to take out 2 shares for the price of 1, so to speak. We also want to make sure, if we don't need that money, that we have, maybe we make sure that our beneficiaries aren't going to have to pay taxes on that money in the future. So we want to do some tax planning strategies, maybe Roth conversions. So let's understand what we need the money to do and when we need it to do it, so that we can get under control the risk, so we can get under control the tax planning, we can get under control the fees. And again, that's part of our Retire Fit analysis. We'll help you understand what we need the money to do when, so that we can get all of that right in your retirement income plan. So the number to call is 623-792-5496. That is a really important part of your planning, to understand your retirement accounts, because the IRS is not forgiving if you don't take the money out when you should, and there's heavy penalties if it's not done correctly.
That's right. And just imagine how fast your savings could shrink if you have all these steep penalties that you rack up, along with those withdrawals and paying taxes and all the other things. It's just worth it to make sure that you are following the rules and that you're doing this the right way, so you can be as efficient as possible when it comes to your money. 623-792-5496. Being financially fit. It's all about being efficient when it comes to your retirement savings. Again, that's 623-792-5496. Retire Financially Fit with Phyllis continues in just a moment. Stay with us.
Time for today's trivia question. How much of an increase will Social Security benefits be in 2022? Is it A, 2.8%, or B, 5.9%? The answer coming up in 60 seconds.
If you owed almost $28 trillion and you didn't have the money to pay it off, what would you need to do? Make a lot more money, right? Well, now America's debt is more than $28 trillion, and taxes are at historically low levels. It doesn't take a genius to realize taxes will probably go up. Now, think about your retirement accounts. Do you want to pay taxes on some of that money now, when rates are low, or later when rates are much higher? Whether you should pay taxes now or in retirement depends on a lot of things. Phyllis Sachs-Pilvinus and the team at PSP & Associates know what to look for. Call 623-792-5496 to set up a visit with Phyllis Sachs-Pilvinus and the team at PSP & Associates. That's 623-792-5496. When taxes go up, will you be ready? Call now, 623-792-5496. Firm offers insurance services and may not give tax advice. Investment advisory services are offered through PSP Financial Services, LLC, an Arizona-registered investment advisor.
How much of an increase will Social Security benefits be in 2022? Is it A, 2.8%, or B, 5.9%? The answer is B, 5.9% in 2022. To see how that affects your finances, contact PSP & Associates today at 623-792-5496. That's 623-792-5496.
Thanks for joining us today on Retire Financially Fit with Phyllis. I am Jen Rezac, happy to be here alongside Phyllis Sachs-Pilvinus. She is founder and president of PSP and Associates. She is the author of the book, Creating Calm Amidst the Storm. And today we're helping you get ahead of your financial strategy for 2022 this year with key retirement dates to remember throughout this calendar year. It's all part of helping you retire financially fit. And Phyllis, there are some things that we just want to be thinking about throughout the year. I know, for example, in April, we have kind of our tax filing deadline. What are some key dates for tax planning here in 2022?
Okay, so tax filing, like you said, you can still contribute to your IRAs and Roths if you're eligible up to April 15th. But tax planning is what we really want to talk about. And we should have that as if you have a true retirement plan, you have a tax efficient strategy that's set up for many years to come. You're not just talking about what's getting prepared on April 15th, but you know that, each year X amount of dollars are going to come from each of your accounts. Maybe you're doing Roth conversions, and that is already established. And then we want to start making sure we get these tax strategies implemented. I start with my clients in November or December. We know in advance what we're going to be doing, but we wait till about November. Definitely has to be done before December 31st. We revisit it in November. Really important. But I'm going to tell you, these dates don't matter unless you have a tax-efficient retirement income strategy. And here's where it starts. What is your future tax liability? What's it going to cost you in taxes over your lifetime as you are positioned today? That is so eye-opening when people come on in and we sit down with them and we show them what it's going to cost them in taxes for the distributions from their retirement accounts.
Right.
Once we show them that over a lifetime, we can then back in and make decisions with them, help them make decisions to reduce that tax liability by maybe taking their distributions out of different accounts, or maybe doing Roth conversions. Maybe just instead of waiting to take distributions from your retirement accounts, maybe you take those early instead of waiting to the traditional 72 when you have to take those required minimum distributions. All really important stuff. So I'd say throw out the calendar for April 15. Don't worry about that so much as you should be worried about, do I have a tax-efficient withdrawal strategy to last throughout our lifetime? The biggest area that we help people in is understanding their future tax liability, then setting up a distribution tax strategy that saves them tens of thousands of dollars throughout their lifetime. So I know I always get a little bit of agitated when we talk about, tax dates.
Right.
No, let's just make sure we have that long-term strategy in place, and then let's implement it at the end of each year accordingly.
Yeah. And I think that's a really good point, because we're looking for easier ways to address it. It seems a lot easier to say, oh, look at the calendar and let's take care of this or that then. But there's a difference between looking in the rearview mirror when we file our taxes, because that's reflective of what's already been done. It's done. It's behind us. And now we have to recognize that there's a difference between that and doing tax planning, which is looking forward. That's looking through the windshield, not the rearview mirror. Phyllis, when it comes to things like potentially a review of the risk we have in our retirement savings, when would you suggest getting that done? How do we handle making sure that we aren't overdoing it when it comes to the risk we have in our portfolio? Do we have a best time of year to take a look at something like that?
Yeah, and that's called yesterday.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, that's called because here's what I'll say loud and clear. If you don't know how much risk exposure in real numbers or percentages that you have in your portfolio in a bad market, that would affect your lifestyle, if you don't know what that percentage is in real numbers that you can really look at and then see if it's appropriate for you and your circumstances, then you need a risk analysis yesterday.
Okay.
Let me just call it out. With all the government spending, with inflation, with this market, going so high, market's correct.
Yeah.
Market's correct. Yeah. And where are you going to be? Where are you going to be? The first place that we start with everybody who comes into our office for a Retire Fit analysis is to take your holdings and show you how they would perform under certain market conditions. What would have happened during COVID? It happened so quick. Most people think, well, my portfolio wasn't so bad. It came back. It's called amnesia. You forget how much it might have gone down.
Right.
What if the market stayed down? What would it look like in a 2008? So a risk analysis, if you haven't done it already, you need to do it now. That's a great reason. Mm-hmm. New Year's here. Get it done. Don't procrastinate. 623-792-5496. Remember this. In retirement, how much risk you took up to that point really changes later on. You probably want to reduce that risk down. And if you think you know, but you don't really know, you could get yourself in trouble. 623-792-5496. Come on in for that Retire Fit analysis. A big piece of that is our risk analysis. It's a stress test for all of your investments. And remember, we always start with, there's no obligation. It's complimentary. If you've done the heavy lifting, you've saved for retirement, let's make sure that what you've accumulated is in the right places to get you to and through retirement successfully. And it really starts with understanding your risk, understanding your future tax liability, understanding your fees. These are all pieces of the Retire Fit analysis. 623-792-5496. Let's do it yesterday.
That's right, 623-792-5496. And here's another reason why this is so important as we talk about thinking about things like what's going on with your risk, talking about things like your tax liabilities and how do we make tax-efficient decisions around these types of things. Nearly 70% of Americans are missing a written financial plan. So many people don't actually have a plan. And Phyllis, people without a plan tend to feel less confident about their future.
That's absolutely the truth. Look, I know a lot of you are worried that you haven't saved enough or that you won't be able to retire. I know that most of you don't have a written financial plan, and a written financial plan can help you feel more financially stable. So you don't have to be one of those people worried if your money will last or if you can even afford to retire. We have a process for helping you create an income strategy, and we start with what we call our Retire Fit analysis. So if you're listening to me right now and you don't have an income strategy, and based upon the statistics, you probably don't, I invite you to call so we can help you. We'll help you create a budget to figure how much you'll need for the retirement you've been dreaming about. We'll uncover the main risks posing a threat to your retirement, including inflation, stock market volatility, potential tax increases, and let's not forget skyrocketing healthcare costs. I want to help you learn about the options for generating safe, reliable income in retirement. I want to help you learn about how to keep your current standard of living in retirement even as these costs keep rising. Remember, it's complimentary to do the analysis, and there truly is no obligation other than the time we're going to spend together. But you do need to have saved some money for retirement, at least $250,000 or more to put a plan in place. So call us today at 623-792-5496 and ask for the retirement income analysis. After we've analyzed where you are right now, then we can help you get started mapping out your strategy to get you where you want to go. This isn't about big wins. We're not doing this to double or triple your money. We want to make sure you don't end up outliving your money and you have the retirement that you dreamed of. 623-792-5496. $54.96.
Yeah, you should take advantage of this special offer from Phillis to make sure you won't run out of money. And you could even boost your returns over time. So get started today at 623-792-5496. You've been listening to Retire Financially Fit with Phillis. That is all the time we have today. But thanks so much for joining us today. We hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you next time. Investment advisory services are offered through PSP Financial Services, LLC, an Arizona registered investment advisor. PSP Financial Services is an independent financial services firm that helps people create retirement strategies using a variety of insurance and investment products. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to safety, security, or guaranteed lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investment products. Insurance and annuity product guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. PSP Financial Services, LLC is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. You should talk to a qualified professional before making any decisions about your personal situation. We are not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.